Alright traders, I am back again with another video, and this video we're going to talk a little bit about the Ichimoku theories as far as your time, your wave, and your price projection theories. I'm probably going to look more at the time theory right now because I'm not going to look at all three theories because I haven't even explained those theories here on YouTube. But what I'm looking at now is the USD one, and we're on a daily time frame here, and the things that we look for, okay, so basically in Ichimoku you have what is called Kian Suchi, which is the basic numerical values that Ichimoku uses, and it's much like Fibonacci numbers. So you have 10 basic numbers, and then a couple of numbers you add in between those numbers, and then you go follow the same procedure to get through past 100. All right, so I'm not going to go over those numbers right now, but I'm going to tell you that we are hitting near one of those numbers. So I have 41 bars here. 42 is one of the days that we look for. So that is going to be what you call Hinka B, which is day of change. So on day 42, we're looking for a day of change. So we're at a support and resistance level. So pretty much we would have kind of expected that level to hold. But when you look at Ichimoku, things are telling you that this is a bearish opportunity, because let me show you here. We have a TK crossover that's bearish, our cloud is bearish, and we don't have anything flat like this. All right, and then everything is starting to angle to the downside, you could see. And then when you really want to get into a trade, guys, to the downside or to the upside, you want to make sure that Tenkan-sen and Kijin-sen, so both of those are pointing your direction that you want to go in, because that's gives you some momentum for your trade. And then the next thing that we looked at here, so you got your TK crossover, your future is dark. Chiku span is below price right here, and there's nothing to stop Chiku span, but there is a hidden level that could stop us that I'm going to talk about. And then price right here is below the cloud, which is major. So we have all bearish signs. Let's go and look at one more thing here. So then also, when I look at this, you could see there was a big rejection at this level. So I got this level marked pretty much at 6.74354, right? So when you look at that level, you could see that it looks like a support level where you had a bottom here and then another bottom here, a strong rejection here, and then you had a rejection here. Now on our day, so 42 is our day that we look for, but you allow plus or minus 1 for the market for error. All right, and so then I'm going to go and look at couple other things here. So I got the support and resistance levels, and I like to mark these levels. So this is more like a zone. So to me, this is all support in this zone, and really until the market closes outside of that zone, I don't feel real comfortable about a bearish opportunity. But Ichimoku's telling me that everything looks good, so I like to look at some divergence also. So when I look at this chart, I don't really see, I do see some divergence here. So if you look back, we could go like this. So from here, you can see this ultimate oscillator moving to the upside, but price is pretty much staying the same levels. I can't draw straight, but you can see we're pretty much staying the same levels even at the support and resistance level here. We stayed the same level. Now we're starting to come down a little bit, looks like. And with this move today is over 100 pips for this pair. That's over 100 pip move for this. So what we called for on day 42, we actually got on day 41, and we got over 100 pip move so far. Now that's a small candle, but that's a daily candle. So when we go into the 4-hour time frame, so what I like to do myself, I know that day 42 I'm looking for that change, I'm looking for that move. So I'm at support. You know, we're taught to bounce off of support and trade long, but all Ichimoku signals are bearish. So what I want to do is go down to the 4-hour time frame, because what I do is look at the daily, judge what the bias is on the daily, because you want to know what the market's doing on the daily time frame. If you know what the daily picture is, then you could trade inside of that daily. And what I mean is, like, if I know that the daily is trading, like for instance here to the downside, and then when you get this pullback, you kind of might know that you're in a correction more than a move to the upside, a trend to the upside. Now if we look at Ichimoku wave analysis, it would look like we would think this market was going to continue to the downside, because our N wave didn't continue to the upside. So it looks like it's going to move to the downside. and then we had this support level here to stop us a little bit, so we wanted to see what happened. But I can't enter this trade today just because Fridays I don't enter trades, so I stick to my rule. But we talked about this yesterday in our live at 5 session. So we had our 5 o'clock session, and we talked about this trade opportunity, and we talked about getting into this trade depending on what time or when it happened. Now, we were hoping that this would happen not over the weekend, but after the weekend, because we would have then felt free to trade. But we don't really want to get into the trade Friday and hold it over the weekend and then come in the market spikes up or whatever. So therefore, I'm not getting into the trade today. It's a great opportunity for me because when I'm looking at this, I figured it out on the daily time frame. I do all my analysis on the daily. I figured out my Kian-Suchi, which is my numerical value, which is 42 for in this case. So 42 plus or minus 1 gives me 41 bars. So there you have it from the low to this point. So there at 42, 41, I'm looking for the market to move, to change direction, or to accelerate to the downside or the upside or whatever. Now, I never know which way it's going to go, but I have to go by what Ichimoku tells me. So when I'm looking to trade this now, the way that I'm going to enter the trade would have been the 4-hour time frame. So I do all my analysis on the daily, and then I'm going to go down to the 4-hour time frame. Whoops, that's not the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to go down to the 4-hour time frame, and then I'm going to figure out my trade because I already know that today was the day of change. I missed the opportunity because it's Friday. So we had a couple setups here where we could have gotten to the trade here. As you see, the market bounced and pulled back up to this level here. Now, this is one of our levels that we trade, along with bouncing off of Kijinsen right here. And you see you got a TK crossover that's bearish. Everything is bearish on the 4-hour and the daily. So we were looking for that opportunity. You had a 3 inside out right here. You had a hangman here. So you had a couple opportunities where you could have gotten into the market on the 4-hour time frame. If this had been Monday or something, we'd have taken this trade and let it go to the downside. We'd have figured out our values, because now I'm going to show you how I would have figured out my values. So if I enter the trade here, I'm going to look for my Ichimoku values. Most of the time it's going to be a 1-to-1 target. So I already have these values set, so I don't ever have to really mess with them. I'm going to go from the previous high to the low and then to this high. So that gives me that level there. And I'm going to be shooting for, I would be shooting for this areas down here. This is my first level. So I'm going to tell you what these levels are here, basically, so you can understand what I'm looking at here. Okay, so I'll tell you what these levels are, but you don't really have to know them right now because you don't understand the whole concept here. But this lower level is my E value. This level here is my V value. This level here is my N value, and this level here is my NT value. Really don't need NT value on there. N value is going to be one of the main values that you shoot for. You guys see this every day in the market. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a 1-to-1 move. The market moves the same distance. So it's basically an AB equals CD move. And that's all it really is. Okay, it's an AB equals CD move. It's this, you probably heard of it a lot of times. But also, when I'm doing this, I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3. So you get a 1, a 2, and a 3. All right. And then you look for your 4. Where's your 4 target? That's all we're doing, is shooting for our 4 target, one of these levels. And we're basically going to see what price action does around these levels. And price isn't always going to make it down to the targets. This isn't 100% guaranteed. I can't tell you that, but it works out a lot of times. So if you go back and back test, you'll find out for yourself that this works a lot of the times in the market. So when you enter this trade, if you entered this trade as we showed when we talked about it yesterday on our live at 5, had we been able to get into this trade, if it wasn't Friday, we would have shot for these targets down here. So no one has to really ask me where is the target, because we automatically know where the target is because we've gone through this. So I'm going to also show you that the 1, the 2, and the 3, you always have to get through 2 first though. All right, so you always have to get through that level, because if you don't, what usually happens is this. The market comes down, gets stuck here, and then it starts to do this. All right. And then you may get another kind of wave here. So this would be a P wave here in Ichimoku. And then we would have to do our analysis based off of the P wave and then see which way the market may go and then try to catch the trade at that point. So P wave is just pretty much fluctuation. The market was unable to get through this level and it found a level in between. It just fluctuated and then you had a P wave pretty much. All right. So, I think that's about it for this, because I really don't want to take this trade and didn't take it because of being Friday, but I think it was a good opportunity. So just one missed out on. But when you look at this chart, you could see everything is bearish, so really had no reason to be thinking for a long trade. Now I could change my bias when I go back to the daily. The daily could give me an opportunity to change my bias. If it would take a lot for me to change my bias here, right? Because even if we bounce on this level, then we're probably going to be in a little range here. But it looks like we're fighting through that level. I base fractals for structure of the market, so looking at the fractals is the way we decide which way we want to trade. Add that in with Ichimoku, and we'll trade fractal breaks and bounces and Kijisen breaks and bounces. So when you're looking at this chart, and you look at any chart with Ichimoku, when you see a strong trend to the downside, price never really gets back to the Kijisen. All right, it usually bounces off of this Tenkan-sen, so you got to find your trade entry off of the Tenkan-sen. You see here the market moved to the downside, Tenkan-sen bouncing off. It came right to Tenkan-sen here, formed indecision, and then now it's making a move to the downside. All right, so we'll see what happens, but our Ichimoku numbers are giving us a good clue about what's going on with the market. All right, so that's looking at the US dollar, won. I'm gonna look through the markets and probably post a few other things, so might have a couple videos out today, so we'll see what happens. If you're interested in anything that I'm talking about, you want to learn more, you want to understand how to trade Ichimoku to its full potential, then visit my site. All right, my site is www.fxat1glance.com, all spelled out. All right, so I'll show you my site real quick. This is my site real quick. So it's fxat1glance.com, all one word, all together basically. And if you really want to become a member, you could click on lifetime membership, because that's what I'm offering right now. So for a limited time, I'll be offering that lifetime membership, and if you're a member, you get to check all this stuff out. But we have a lot of stuff in our forum and our chat room where we get together and talk about this. Most of my trade setups I post in the chat room. I had a lot of them posted in this area here with the trade setups, but sometimes it takes time to get a trade setup out, so it's easy to talk about it in the chat room, and I post them in the forum also. But I want to try to have them, make sure I have them in all three places so members can take advantage, because some members who aren't in the chat room don't have an opportunity to see what I'm talking about in the chat room if I don't post it in the trade setups videos or the forum. All right, and if you want to be a member, right now I'm offering, like I said, lifetime membership. Just click on this lifetime membership here, and it will take you right to this time, right to this area where you could become a member of FX at one glance. All right, guys, hopefully this stuff is helping you out. If you want to get even more help, become a member, be able to help you out even more, because I spend most of my time with my members more than anything else, doing videos for YouTube or anything else. All right, so thanks a lot. Hope this helps you guys. Again, have a great one. God bless. So long.